Welcome to Comfort Time with AntiGBV, where we share testimony stories. Today we have a special guest whom you have seen before, and this is Mr. Nelson Banda of Men's Network. Mr. Banda, welcome to Comfort Time.
Well, thank you very much. It's always best to be here and share, what is going on around.
Thank you. So, today we would like you to unpack an international convention that has sparked a lot of interest amongst civil society. And this is the C190. What is C190?
Well, the Convention 190 is an international piece of legislation that was initiated by the international labor organizations. They are working with different stakeholders. So it is aimed at protecting women in the workplace against the gender-based violence and harassment.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is different from the gender-based violence act that we have in place?
Well, I would say the contents are almost the same. They speak to each other.
Okay.
But this one specifically talks about the protection of women against all forms of violence and harassment in the workplace.
In the workplace.
Yes.
Okay. So why is it important? How does it?
Well, it is important because, after the realization of the need to protect women against all forms of gender-based violence, all forms of harassment, I think the international community, working with other stakeholders, decided to start talking about an international piece of convention or law that would actually be able to protect women. As you may wish to know, that women are more vulnerable in almost all spheres of, the operational environment. So they thought that this would be actually a good piece of legislation that would be applied, especially when we have, complaints, harassment, gender-based violence, issues in the workplace. How do we protect our women against all those challenges?
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's not only women who face these challenges. Does it also speak to the challenges that men have, or is it specifically for women?
Well, it covers everyone, including men and women, but you see, women are more vulnerable. We have heard of incidences where, men are also harassed. For instance, if a man is working, a junior officer is working under a woman, there are all those things that comes up. You may be asked to work long hours, or sometimes your boss, who's a woman, may begin to show behaviors that you may not like. So even men are vulnerable, but they need to be protected. So this piece of legislation is actually protecting everyone in the world of work, so that there's a free environment of everyone to operate in. It also talks about people in the informal sector, for instance, the marketeers, the traders, and so forth. Yeah. So after that piece of legislation, a lot of countries have to, integrate it. Those that will ratify will need to integrate it into their national laws, so that it becomes an operational laws in those countries. And we're so excited to mention that Zambia, ratified. I've also heard.
We have.
Yeah, that Rwanda also ratified, meaning that they need now to integrate it into our own laws. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and I think we speak to the other pieces of legislation, for instance, the AntiGBV Act. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad that we are on it as a country, because I know we've had many instances where a woman can complain but the men so powerful that in the end the woman is actually then fired and doesn't get listened to. So I hope those are the things that they've really like zeroed in, because sometimes it's difficult to prove. Much as a woman can lie about a man, the men also can refuse even when they did target a woman. So I hope those are things that I'm yet to read it, but I hope those are things that they've made sure that there are areas where you can actually zero in and make sure someone is convicted.
But just to talk or give examples. At one time when I was working for the YWCA, I handled very complicated cases where 3 women were harassed by the superiors at the workplace. And when I came across this piece of legislation, I said, no, maybe at that time, if this convention was in place that time, we could have used it, because those things were really, really bad.
There were gaps.
There were gaps. So I think it's a very good piece of legislation. And I hope that a lot of organizations, both in the private, the corporate, and the civil society, will take a keen interest to ensure that it is publicized, people get to know it, and also used to develop policies within institutions, so that they can be aware of its implementation.
I think if each organization or company has one that answers to that, it will work faster to protect everybody concerned. Because sometimes in workplaces they don't even have such kind of legislation, and they're supposed to have their own, tailored to their own company. And
the beauty of this piece of legislation is that the Zambia Congress of Trade Unions are the anchor of this convention, and I'm sure they will roll it throughout their members. It's a very progressive piece of legislation. And for your own information, myself and the Secretary General of the Zambia Congress of Trade Unions were crowned as ambassadors to begin to talk about this piece of legislation. So one of those things that came out.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so have you got any program already lined out how you're going to do sensitizations? Because a lot of people, especially women, who have gone through this, and others have seen their friends go through this, and they didn't get anywhere, will be very skeptical. So how are you planning on sensitizing everybody? And I'm glad you are mentioning the marketeers, because even there's a lot of harassment, and women, because they just feel, what can I do? Some will give in even when they didn't want to. And it's in different spaces where this rears its ugly head. So what have you decided, how have you decided you're going to sensitize the masses?
For me, we're going to integrate it into our work. Because when we're talking about GBV, even in the informal spaces where some of our people that we're working with actually belong to, I think it's very, very important. For instance, some of our members, if I may give you an example of Chongwe, they are marketeers, So we'll talk about this convention using those platforms. But I think our colleagues in the Zambia Trade Unions will also have a network of private institutions, companies as members will also talk about it. It's a very progressive piece of international legislation that will actually protect women in the world of workplaces. And also the beauty is that it is it addresses some of the it also targets the women in the informal sectors.
Good.
Yeah, like you have mentioned in the market. Yeah, because for instance, if a woman is looking for a ritual space,
a shop even in the market. Yeah,
we've heard about those stories, and men,
they demand certain favors that maybe the woman is not willing to give, but then looking at the need, they may end up succumbing because there's no other way.
So those will also be, protected using that international.
That's great. That's great. About time.
It is.
About time. Okay. No, we are going to be watching this space. We look forward to seeing how it's going to roll out.
Yes.
We want to see it progress, and I think Comfort Time will do its part by sensitizing and explaining to the people the way I've explained. Everybody will get the information, and then they too can take it up. So for those who are listening, don't just listen and keep it to yourself. Listen and share so that other people get to know that we have this beautiful convention C190 that we need to popularize for the benefit of everybody. Okay, well, thank you so much, Mr. Banda.
Continue
with your good works.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and thank you for the explanation. We really need this. So we are going to do what we can do ourselves, do what you have to do, and the rest is up to you, listeners, to do your part.
Thank you.
So this beautiful convention C190 is for us. It's not only for women, it's for men too, because even men do get harassed. So please, the onus is on all of us to make sure everybody knows about it. Don't get discouraged because you have seen people going to court, going to the police and not benefiting. We had some gaps which have been answered through this piece of legislation. So let's run with it. Let it work for us as it has been prepared for us. So Comfort Time continues. Always remember to give us a thumbs up. That helps to popularize the videos. Even as you do your own, let YouTube also help us to spread the good work. And share as much as possible. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Comfort Time continues. See you in the next video.